Okay, good day, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to talk about conditional formatting. Okay, so what is conditional formatting? Well, before I answer that question, let me just describe what it is we're looking at here. I've got a straightforward table of pupils and their scores over 4 tests, and then their average score. So this is all of the pupils. Here are their scores over 4 tests. And then this is the average of the score. So we can see the P1 scored 15, 8, 14, and 14, and his average score was 12.8. Okay? So that's what we're looking at. And then the colors down the side here, we can see, well, anybody who scored less than 10 is colored in red. Anybody who scored between 10 and 20 is colored in this kind of ambery color, this orange color, and anybody who scores greater than 20 is colored in green. Okay, so this is a really nice way for us to see very quickly different values from our data. So conditional formatting is where we can format a cell based on the data that's inside that cell. So if you think about how we would normally format these cells, we might set the background color or set the font color, etc., etc. But then that never changes. What conditional formatting allows us to do is to say, if the value is less than 10, make it red. So for instance, if we suddenly realize that P1 only got these scores, you can see as soon as the average score drops below 10, now that cell changes from orange to red. Okay, so conditional formatting is where we apply rules for formatting based on the data. And because we're basing it on the data, when the data changes, the format changes. Okay, so where do we use conditional formatting? Well, anywhere that we need to draw attention to different values. So for instance, who here in this table is my, who are my stars and who are the guys I need to spend some more time with? Well, straight away I can see that P1 and P5 scored pretty poorly. So they're the guys I need to spend more time with. And P8, P11, P15 and P16, they did really well. So they're the guys who are going to get the emails home. All right. So you can imagine if I've got 70 pupils, conditional formatting is a really nice way for me to just highlight straight away where do I need to look. Okay. The second place we use conditional formatting is anywhere where the format needs to change in response to the data. So what does that mean? Well, let's imagine we have a temperature. So if you want the temperature to be when it's 20 degrees, it's cold, so then it's blue. But then when it's between 20 and 30, it becomes orange because it's warm. But when it gets to be 30 or above, it turns red. Okay, so that means that we are making the format dependent on the value. And when the value changes, the format changes. Okay, so that's conditional formatting. And as I said, it's a really nice way of using Excel. So again, for P13, we just realized that they scored 25 and 25, and now P13 joins the list of stars. Okay, right, so the next thing we're going to look at is how do we actually use conditional formatting. So if I go to my second sheet, what I've got here is just the list of pupils and the list of data. Okay, so as a revision, the first thing I'm going to do is set up the average score. So I'm going to click on the first cell here, equals average, and I'm going to click and drag the cells. I want to take the average over, and then there's my first average score. And then to do the rest, I'm going to press copy and then highlight the cells I want to paste into, and then Control V to paste, and now there's all of my nice little cells. Okay. And I didn't have to worry about any fixed cells in this case, so I could just do the straightforward references. I can see that I'm getting some 0.25s and some funny numbers. So what I'm going to do is just highlight everything, and then I'm going to use this button here to change the decimal places. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to click everything to be on 1 decimal place, and then I'm going to click everything again to be on 2 decimal places because I had some 2.5s there. So now my average scores are all nicely formatted. Okay, so up until now, all we've done is to set up the data for our table. What we're going to do next is conditional formatting. And the first thing I want to do is to apply the rule that says anything less than 10 is going to be red. So I'm going to highlight the cells that I want to apply it to. I'm going to click conditional formatting. I'm going to click the highlight cells rule. I want this rule to be less than 10. So any cells that are less than 10 will be a light red fill with a dark red text. Perfect. Okay, and it doesn't, and because there aren't any, but I will just automatically just create one now. 5, 5, 4, and 5, and there's my conditional formatting kicking in. Perfect. Okay, so the next rule I want to apply is the one that says anything that is greater than or equal to 10, but less than or equal to 20, make it into orange. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of the cells again, okay, including the red one, because I want this rule to apply to the red one too. So highlight cells between 10 and 20, and this time make it yellow fill. And there's those ones, and then finally I've already got these highlighted, so here's my green ones. Conditional highlighting greater than 20, and fill them with green. There they go. And that's conditional formatting. Okay, so for instance, and we just give a quick test, I'm going to change this one to 20 and then this one to 20, and then there's my green. So there's lots of other little rules that we can apply. For instance, if you look at, let's say for instance we are going to do a attended class. Okay, so 111100000000111111. Anybody who attended the class gets a 1. Anybody who didn't attend the class gets a 0. I'm going to highlight all of these. Conditional formatting. This time I'm going to use icons, and I'm going to say use the 3 traffic lights like this. And now here's the people who attended, and then here's the people who didn't attend, and here's the people who attended again. And then if I suddenly realize that this person didn't attend, change it to 0, and then they get a red light. Okay, so that's how we apply conditional formatting. I encourage you to have a play with it. There are lots of different rules that we can use. Another one favorite of mine is to use data bars. So for instance, if I wanted to see data bars for the test 1 scores, I'm going to highlight test 1, use the data bars, and I want it to be a gradient fill. Actually, I want it to be a solid fill there. So now we can see that those who scored the highest get the biggest bar. And you can see suddenly that this really makes our spreadsheet stand out. Okay, it turns it from straightforward numbers to something that's far more visually appealing, far more professional, and far easier to understand as well. Okay, so as always, if you have any questions, please contact me, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to produce. Take care.